The Knicks are dealing with a number of injuries, but thankfully they're getting healthy, and slowly players are returning to this team. But that begs the question, when this Knicks roster is fully healthy, what type of lineups and rotations will we see out of head coach Tom Thibodeau? Well, thanks to an NBA insider, he recently revealed that when the Knicks are fully healthy, they're going to be looking to play a double big lineup in Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson. We're going to break down all of these latest reports and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. The Knicks' plans for the rotation once Robinson returns. I feel like a broken record because for a number of weeks now, I've said openly that I believe Karl-Anthony Towns is more of a 4 for this team than he is a 5. Not to say that he can't play the 5, but when he does play the 5, the Knicks on defense are just going to look a little bit different. And sometimes that difference is not a good thing. It causes defenders to blow by us. It causes them to go into the paint, get whatever they want, score at will, and it's just not Knicks defense that we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing players have that fear inside, not willing to take a jump shot or any shot in the paint. Pass that ball along other players on the side and try to get an open look at the wing. We're normally used to seeing that. But players abusing us inside, that's something a little bit more new that we're not used to seeing. However, Tom Thibodeau sees this too. Really, we all do. The entire NBA does. And because of that, it's starting to become the blueprint on how to beat New York. Be aggressive inside and switch aggressively on defense on the other side of the ball. If you do that, you might give yourself the best chance to beat this Knicks team. And we don't need an easy way to beat us. We don't need a blueprint to exist. We need to be one of the hardest teams to beat in the league. And one of the ways you do that is if you pair another dominant big with Karl-Anthony Towns, similar to what they did in Minnesota when they traded for Rudy Gobert. And according to Ian Begley, it seems like the Knicks have the exact same plan. Let's break down these latest reports from Begley and see what he has to say about this situation. According to him, in his latest edition of his mailbag, he was asked the question about Karl-Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson, and if the Knicks would explore a lineup of playing those two together. And this was his response. I can't answer this question definitively, but I don't think the Knicks would pivot from playing Karl-Anthony Towns at center. I can say confidently that New York will want to see lineups with Towns and Mitchell Robinson on the floor together, if possible. Robinson is currently rehabbing from foot surgery. If and when he makes it back to the floor, he will probably come off the bench initially. I can't see him starting right away, but I do think that the Knicks want to see how a Towns-Robinson front court performs. Begley continues here by stating, last season, the Timberwolves had a lot of success with Towns at power forward and Rudy Gobert at center. Towns played power forward for 95% of his 2,000-plus minutes last year, per Basketball Reference. The Knicks obviously don't want Towns playing power forward 95% of the time this year. But I do think that they like to see how lineups with Towns and Robinson function. Now, obviously, I can understand when Robinson returns from injury, you don't want to start him right away or play him significant minutes with Karl-Anthony Towns or this Knicks team. You want to build those minutes back slowly. But once he's fully available and ready and healthy and has no restrictions, I absolutely believe, just like Begley believes, that the Knicks will explore what it looks like with a double big lineup with Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson. Now, will he do this lineup for 40 minutes or 35 minutes or even 30 minutes a night? I don't think so. Maybe you'll see it 15 minutes a night, maybe some nights 20 minutes a night. But I do not think that Tom Thibodeau is going to start this lineup or play this lineup significant minutes. Honestly, I don't think he can. Imagine playing Mitchell Robinson with Karl-Anthony Towns 30-plus minutes. It sounds like a recipe for disaster when you consider Robinson, how many minutes he's been averaging over the course of his career with the Knicks for the last few seasons, the fact he's coming back from an injury, You don't want to stress him, his body, or certainly that ankle out. You want to make sure you're playing him the right amount of minutes. You cannot overplay Robinson. We know that already. His impact will be more felt come the postseason, but we have to get him to the postseason. So that means when he returns, he has to be protected more than anything else. But thankfully, one of my dreams that I wanted to see from this Knicks team is likely going to come true, either by Robinson returning, Precious Achiuwa returning, or the Knicks having more faith and trust in Ariel Hukporti. Either way, I feel like that double big lineup is coming because you cannot ignore what it looks like when the Knicks are playing aggressive defense inside, and then you have another big like Karl-Anthony Towns or somebody that's dominant aggressively on the offensive side of the ball who's playing the 5. It's going to be something magical to watch, and I can't wait to see it. The Knicks just have to explore a lineup with that. As of right now, we don't have that many bigs to choose from. As Bagley mentioned here in his latest edition of his mailbag, he answered that even though Mitchell Robinson's rehab has been going well, there's no shift or change in terms of his projection on when he's going to return for this team. It's still December or January, and a lot of analysts have already said it's likely more January than December when Robinson will return. We still have to remember, though, this time frame is an estimate. We don't know if he's exactly going to return in January, but we hope that's going to be the case. With Precious Achiuwa, the only update that we have with that is that he has been reevaluated. Actually, he's been reevaluated a number of times, but unfortunately, those reevaluations has not led to him being cleared yet for contact or any form of practice. That means the Knicks are not going to get any help in terms of other bigs coming to this roster for at least several weeks. That means we have to utilize who we have. If we're planning to utilize a double big lineup right now, the only way to do it is to play Ariel Hukporti or Jericho Sims right alongside Karl-Anthony Towns. And after what I saw from that Brooklyn Nets game on Friday night, I think Ariel Hukporti deserves consistent minutes off the bench. Whether that's with Karl-Anthony Towns or without him, we need somebody like that on the floor. He is aggressive on offense. He gives you block shots on defense. He also rebounds the ball extremely well. He rotates well. He switches well. He stays with his man well. Yes, he does have a few defensive lapses. And when he's on the floor, if you're playing him and you're on the three-point line, he's likely going to be late to close you out because it's clear he has a focus to protect the paint. Kind of like how Mitchell Robinson does, kind of like how Isaiah Hartenstein did. It's the exact same thing. So if he's getting beat on the three-point line, it might be by design under head coach Tom Thibodeau because a number of our bigs get beat at the three-point line because they're not focused there. They're focused on the paint. They're focused on dominating there, protecting it, and making sure nobody has an easy way to get inside. Adjustments are needed. Playing a bench is needed. Expanding the rotation is needed. Tom Thibodeau, over the last few games, seems like he understands the hint, but that's without Karl-Anthony Towns being part of the rotation. What happens when Towns returns, likely tonight against the Brooklyn Nets? Will we still see Ariel Hukporti? I hope we do because he deserves the minutes, but with Tom Thibodeau, you never know. And that's the problem. We should know. We should know what's coming. We should know what a consistent Knicks lineup is going to look like. Not only what the starters look like, but what the bench looks like, what the minutes are likely going to be. But as a team, as a franchise, as a fan base, each and every game, we don't know who we're going to see, how many minutes they're going to play, and how long they're going to be in the game. And that's worrisome. We have to make sure we fix that. And the only way to do that is to get more players back on this team, more players that Tom Thibodeau trusts and he can allocate minutes to. Now, that's going to happen in the next several weeks. But until then, we're going to have to work with what we have. And what we have right now is a hungry, strong, dominant rookie who plays center on the Knicks off the bench. The only thing is, will the Knicks play him? If they do, they're going to see magic happen yet again, just like we saw on Friday night. But what about you guys? What do you think about these following reports indicating that once Mitchell Robinson does return and the Knicks are fully healthy, they're likely going to explore what it looks like to play a double big lineup in Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson? Let me know how you feel about that in the comments section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.